Hey gamers, welcome to the Part-Time Gamers Club where we game part-time but support gaming all the time. For those of you tuning in, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And as always, I'm Gio. Alongside me is Gerard. Mike's off for the day. But today's episode, we're going to be discussing some more Monster Hunter because that's the big deal right now in gaming. Gerard, I'm sure you've heard. It's been a very successful game so far, selling 8 million copies, I think it said in the first week.
Yeah.
So I can tell you firsthand, just I know you haven't got it yet, but I'm really enjoying it personally. I got to play a little bit more this weekend, so I've been able to dive in a little bit deeper. But I'm also not rushing through it. I know it sounds kind of weird. Like I know a lot of people just like to burn through the games, and But for me right now, I'm just kind of taking my time, doing the optional quests, messing around, enjoying the world, the experience that it has going on. But
Yep.
what have you been hearing from some of your friends and stuff like that that play?
Um. So like right now, two of my friends, because I had like a lot of friends get it, but not a lot of people are playing it actively. Not because like the game is bad or anything like that, but just this month has been brutal to a lot of people. Uh. So the game itself really good. I had good feedback and everything like that. Besides the performance issues, nobody has any hard critiques that I've seen so far. I have seen some people complain about the game having long cutscenes.
Yeah, yeah, bro. No, that is something that kind of annoys me at times. Not gonna
That
lie.
those are the complaints I have been hearing, but those, in my opinion, are not gameplay issues. Those are game design issues. Just like, hey, we want to tell this story. Let's make a 5 minute cutscene, and people are like, I just want to play the game. Why is the cutscene so long? But like, you have the skip option. You can skip the cutscenes and rewatch them maybe
Yeah.
later in somewhere else or on YouTube or something like that. So if you really want to play the game, you can do that. So it's not game breaking in that
Mm-mm.
regards.
It's just a. I feel like sometimes it. How can I say? Slows the game, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, um, I feel like it disrupts it sometimes. Like sometimes you get into a flow of hunting and stuff like that, and you're like, kind of amped up, and then cutscene, and then you're there for a while, and then you think it's about to get done, and then it turns into another cutscene. I'm like, God.
I and if it's like two cutscenes back
Yeah.
to back, I hate that. I hate that with a burning
Mhm.
passion. I
Does it a
in
lot in this game. Does it a
uh
lot. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know what it is with like, cause like
Mhm.
the funny thing is like the people that make Monster Hunter is
Mhm.
Capcom and everything like that, but Square Enix does the exact same thing, where like they will have for whatever reason long cutscenes, and
Mhm.
then a span of like 2 minutes of gameplay, and then another long cutscene,
Mhm.
and I go like, what the heck? There's a funny thing that I keep bringing up to people where in Final Fantasy 14 there is a one of the many dungeons in the game, but like a dungeon called Praetorium, where it's mostly cutscenes, and it's very very miserable. But the the producers and the devs of the game decided, not decided, but there's a reason for it. But like they made those cutscenes unskippable.
Mhm.
You had to watch
That
through
would
them
stress me out. That would stress
because it's an MMO, so
me.
you're
Mhm.
playing with
Yeah.
people. But two, it's because everyone who already beat the dungeon that gets the dungeon on their daily roulette,
Mhm.
because they want to get the extra experience. Because doing it, going back and getting the extra experience is a good way to move forward. But the people that are new to it want to watch the cutscenes because this is the first time they see it. And all the veterans would skip the cutscenes, do the next part, and then cause another cutscene to come up before the
Oh.
first cutscene was finished.
Oh
So
God. No,
people, new
that's.
players, would end up watching cutscene, and then the moment the cutscene was over, they were in another cutscene.
That pissed me off.
It was
No, but
so funny.
that's Monster Hunter in the beginning. Me and Mike told you like the first day we were playing it, and the beginning of Monster Hunter is just like cutscene after cutscene. There's a little gameplay part, and it goes back to a cutscene. It was stressing me out. But now, it's getting more focused on the gameplay, less cutscenes
story.
as yeah. I mean, there's a lot of story. I feel like I don't know. You would remember better than me, but Monster Hunter World. I'm not saying that it didn't have a story or a good story by any means, but I feel like this one is more centered on having a solid story. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about? I remember Monster Hunter World story like the back of my hand.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't. I just remember going and fighting monsters, dragons, just having fun doing that stuff. I
Because you
kind of
weren't
like.
paying attention. I bet you money. A year from now, you're gonna forget
Mm.
all the cutscenes. You're only gonna remember the gameplay.
Yeah, because I'm
All
trying to skip through them.
that's what's happening right now. I watch all the cutscenes, and I would rewatch cutscenes too because there are some things that I would finish. I would finish the game and
Mm-hmm.
then want to replay the game because I want to know. Well, I want to know two things. I want to know what the customs and the costumes and the armor, how they look on the other gender, but
Yeah.
also I also like to look and see cutscenes and see if there was anything being foreshadowed or
Mm-hmm.
if I missed anything the first time around, which happens a lot in video games. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's like music. It's like music. When you listen to a song a few times, then you like catch something that you never realized. Same thing with video games, even movies.
yeah, when
But
you realize the bars are fire.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. You're like, wait, what? I didn't catch that before.
I was like,
Um,
that's fire. That's spitting.
um, but are you surprised by the success of this one?
I'm
I
not.
kind of am.
I'm not.
I know you thought it was gonna be you thought it was
Uh,
gonna overtake World easy, or at least match it.
at least match it. And I just, with how much hype World did,
Hmm.
and then they went off of consoles back to the Switch focus, and then I was like, this is going to be a hit because World was a good example that people want Monster Hunter or a game like Monster Hunter on consoles. So when
Hmm.
you do that a second time, the people that didn't play some, I think it's Sunbreak, uh, the Switch version of the next Monster Hunter. I forget what it's called.
Rise, wasn't it
Yeah,
Rise?
yeah, Rise. There we go. Since they didn't play that, technically
Hmm.
speaking, in their minds, the console players, the last Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter World.
I told you I didn't even know Rise came out. Like I didn't even know about that one.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, so this is technically them saying, "Oh, a new Monster Hunter is coming out. I'm gonna buy the game." So that I expected that kind of success already coming out. It
8 million though.
I,
Eight
I told
million
you.
though.
I told you. Like I expected it. I fully believed in Monster Hunter,
Mhm.
and I still haven't got the game.
I know, but that's crazy because like there's still a lot of players like you that are Monster Hunter fans and followers that still haven't got it because let's be honest, that's why we're called part-time gamers. The life gets in the way. But
It's also at the
there's still a
beginning of
lot
the
more
month.
players.
It's at the beginning of
Yeah,
the month. Rent hit at the same time. I was like, I can't. I can't.
got to be responsible.
Yeah.
But I am personally a little surprised. I didn't expect it to be this big of a hit right off the bat. Uh, I think it's not going to slow down anytime in the next couple of weeks. I think we might see similar. I don't want to say those kind of numbers, but we might see another Black Myth Wukong, 20 million plus potentially on the horizon.
I'm going to make a prediction. It's going to stop around 14, 15 million.
You think so?
It's we're getting to a part where we're getting to the middle of the year.
Hmm.
So April is going to come around, June's coming around, and more importantly, June's coming around, right? Or not June, May. May is coming around, and May happens to be the end of the first quarter, or the beginning of the second quarter. So people are going to be starting to push games and advertisements, and new games are going to be coming out. I forget there was a game scheduled for end of April. I
But
forget what it
usually
is.
the second quarter is not like a big
It is
release period.
it is
Usually
not,
not.
but second quarter is uh when games will usually come around that time, even though like E3 no longer exists. This is when E3 would normally happen.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's true.
so people in the long term has been scheduling that with that mindset, and E3 hasn't been, or it's not coming out this year. But games that were in development with the prediction of E3 being still a thing,
Yeah.
that have been in development for 3 to 4 years, are still aiming for their deadlines of
Hmm.
May June release. So that's what.
So you thinking 14, 15 million?
Yeah, I think it's
I,
14, 15 million.
I, because you mentioned what you did, I'm actually thinking now maybe it is going to get close to Wukong numbers or surpass it because, like you said, the time period. I feel like there's not enough big releases coming. And if this continues to get the feedback that it's getting in a positive way, uh, I think it'll be the game that most people play throughout the spring and summer until the big gaming war usually happens during the holidays when all the big games start coming out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you know.
Mhm.
Uh, Expedition 33 is supposed to come out end of April.
I just don't think Expedition 33
It's
is going to
not.
be an
It's
immediate hit.
Here's the thing now. It's a
Mhm.
JRPG.
Oh,
Monster Hunter players are mostly JRPG players.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it too.
I was
We
like,
talked about this from the last
that's what I'm
the
saying.
showcase.
I'm pretty sure some people who are planning to get Monster Hunter, if they don't get Monster Hunter by April, which
Hmm.
is next month,
Yeah,
they're getting Expedition 33 instead.
I don't know if you prioritize
No,
Expedition 33 because it's such a new franchise.
it is a
As an
new
experienced
franchise.
Monster Hunter player, as a monster
Yeah,
experienced
as,
Monster Hunter
the veterans are definitely getting Monster Hunter Monster
player.
Hunter. But like, if you as a new person who's like, or I don't want to say dabble, but like in my opinion, veterans are not people who bought Just World as their first Monster Hunter, loved it, and wanted to get the sequel, or
Hmm.
quote unquote sequel, um,
Just
spiritual
reminded me of
successor,
that guy.
whatever.
I,
Yeah,
I want
why
that guy. I want
that's why I had to quote.
I want that guy to comment.
But if you're like, oh, I didn't get it when it released, like I'm
Hmm.
already a little bit behind. Do I want to do this? Because Monster Hunter, let's all admit, it's a grindy game. Or should I get Expedition 33 when it comes out? Because now it doesn't matter if I get it later, but it's definitely hype game. Definitely going to be something that I want to play immediately because that game looks like it will be spoiled, especially since it's a single player game.
Yeah,
And I don't want the story to be spoiled to me.
that's that's why I've been doing with Monster Hunter, staying off of anything. Like I don't even follow Capcom page or Monster Hunter page. I
Yeah,
don't follow
facts.
none of that on purpose. Uh, so I'd probably do the same thing with Expedition 33 and try to make sure I don't watch any YouTube videos or anything that have it or read too much on it. Um, but I agree. I could see where you see that fan base would gravitate to that kind of game. But I feel like Monster Hunter, if if I know you already predict that it won't be for a year, but if they can get a DLC out by the holiday season, I feel that would boost the sales during the summer. If they announce that they'll have a DLC by the holiday season, I just don't know if they're going to have the confidence that their DLC would be able to compete with the games that come out at that time.
I doubt it. And I meant I doubt that they'll have a DLC.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That not that it will compete, but just that they don't have it by the holiday season.
That's why what I said last time when we first talked about it is like I hope they were doing it simultaneously in development, maybe a year or two after they already started Wilds, but I hope they were already creating ideas and have a vision for where they were planning to go with that DLC, so it comes out in a reasonable time frame. That's the only thing I hope for.
And this is going to be something that is going to be hard to rationalize without having experienced it or being in the industry. But I will say the DLCs are planned already in mind
Hmm.
when a game comes out. At least the first one is comes out,
Hmm.
and they're already in development per se. But companies like Capcom or Square Enix is another good example. Project Soft, or not Project Soft, excuse me. Oh no, yeah, Project Soft. Uh, they are thinking about the DLC, but they are not going to be putting out the DLC for the fans on a timely matter. They're going to put it out when they feel like the DLC is done. and finished, and is a finished product without the minimal a minimum amount of bugs and in a state that they are happy with. And this is just a Japanese like kind of mindset. They're gonna put
Hmm.
out the product that they believe is a good product. And
Well,
the,
mhm.
I was gonna say, like, if you ask any Japanese company or like look at any Japanese company, when they bring out DLCs, the complaint is usually never, "Oh, it's so buggy, it's unplayable." Star Wars and Ubisoft, I'm looking at you. It's mostly, "Oh, I don't like the way this game plays," or "I don't like the way they went with the story."
Hmm.
That's usually the critiques people have
The
with,
story usually, yeah.
and those are game design or game uh, development like decisions, not a lack of quality assurance.
I hear you. I think, you know, like I said, I just hope it comes out a little sooner because for me personally, I know there's other gamers that can, but like once I'm done with a game, it's hard for me to go back. It is hard for me to go back. So if I'm already done playing Monster Hunter, like the first one, and it takes so long for the DLC to come, like Iceborne, like I got it, but I couldn't get back into it. Like, because I already have forgotten the whole story. Like you said, it was a year and a half later, and you said a year from now won't remember the cutscenes. I probably won't. Okay, that's almost guaranteed. So like when I'm waiting that long, I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to start the whole game over again just to remember what and make it make sense again. Uh, I think it would have to. It would take like you going back, Mike going back, and maybe like if we go back as a group. And also, there's not a game at that time that's got my attention. You know what I mean? It's got to be a combination of things for me to go back to it. So that's why I'm hoping it comes out a little sooner. And that's also why I guess I'm kind of taking my time with this one too, because I'm trying to stretch it out as long as I can.
Yeah, I haven't heard any DLC roadmaps or
Mm-mm.
anything like that.
No, I'm not looking for it either because I don't want to be disappointed. Because like you said, Capcom's Capcom. They're gonna do it the way they want to do it, no matter what. So it is what it is. I do This game does make me want to see something, even if it's partnered with, because I don't think Capcom would do it. It's almost like I feel like the game has a lot of potential for almost an MMO style. You know what I mean? I would really like to see someone work with Capcom on creating like a Monster Hunter World MMO.
You could just say Monster Hunter MMO.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I just
I'm not gonna put my thoughts onto that because like it really depends. Cause like
Mhm,
I can't see Capcom going out of their comfort zone to make
mhm.
an MMO because MMOs are expensive. One, but two, Capcom doesn't probably want to put money down on a live service game where they have to keep spending money for the game. With that being said, uh,
That's also why I
I'm
said partnered up.
yeah,
Partner
uh,
up with somebody.
but like even if you think about it, like because MMOs are such a huge investment that
Hmm.
like not sponsorships and partners are very hard to come by in that area. Like if you look at all the MMOs that come out, they're either by companies that have a lot of money anyway. New
Yeah.
World is a good example, is Amazon, or they are MMOs that are designed for a niche community, like
Hmm.
Grand Blue or Final Fantasy 14.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to think of any MMO that is straight up has like multiple developers working on it, because like the more people that are responsible for the game, the more people that are tied down by the game. So
Well, I would say Capcom has to be kind of like an overseer. Because you said it before too, and I don't think Capcom's like these huge development teams. They seem to be a smaller team. That's why they take their time with their games, and they don't overextend the life of the game, so to speak. They don't try to keep these games running forever. But I think if they're the ones controlling the storyline, if they're designing the monsters, stuff like that, making the world still feel like Monster Hunter while they have another team that's developing the game and focusing on keeping it live service and doing all that crap. I think that would be cool. But then again, how would it feel? That's my concern too. Because if Capcom's not making it, how would it feel? Would it feel like Monster Hunter? Just because it looks like Monster Hunter doesn't mean it's gonna feel like Monster
Exactly.
Hunter.
So a little update.
Hmm.
So we have for Monster Hunter Wilds, uh, 2 confirmed free updates, DLCs
Yeah.
for the game. We have one that is planned to be in April, which is a new
Oh.
monster,
Oh yeah,
uh,
they did that last.
and then another one in summer, which is going to be a new monster, but we don't know what it is. Uh, so the first one is going to be the Misusune,
Hmm.
completely new monster. I haven't seen it before. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it has been out, but I've never seen it before. And then there's going to be a second monster in summer. Uh, but both of these are going to come with a new monster and a new event quests. And the first one comes out with the Gathering Hub as well, which is basically just like a glorified guild area and things like that.
You know what I think would be cool?
I want
They did like arena. Like they did an arena where you just fight the monsters in an arena. Like think of like the Coliseum.
They did.
Like
I mean, in
they did that.
World, in World there was one.
Really?
I don't know
I don't
about
remember.
Wilds, but I know in Worlds there was one.
Maybe there'll be one in Wilds if there was like that. And
Yeah, because
that.
I remember the challenges,
Mhm.
that you can do. You could go to the Gathering Hub. You can do a challenge,
Yeah, yeah.
and which is just like, oh, fight this monster, but there is like the monster has extra attack damage, or the monster is
Mm.
invulnerable to certain things, or never staggers, and things like that.
Mhm.
Uh, but
Hmm.
I don't know
remember.
about Wild, so
We'll find out. I mean, it's still early game. I'm sure there's stuff on it, but I'm not looking it up. Not. I don't want to be. I don't want it to be ruined for me. I just want to get to it, experience it. One thing I would say that I liked so far, and that I've noticed from World. Maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this one there's way more diverse monsters than World. I feel like World was more focused around dragons. There was a lot of dragon type monsters, good amount.
which
Um,
ones? There's like 3.
no, that was like wasn't the wasn't the first one like I think it was called Ragnarok, right? The red one,
You mean Rathalos?
Rathalos. Yes, that was that. But there was two types of Rathalos,
Yes, there's pink
was it?
Rathalos and the red Rathalos.
Yes, and then
Or
there was another
Rathalos.
one. There was another one, like a silver one, wasn't there? Can't remember. But then there was the sand one, the one that was in the sand.
The one that was
Remember?
in the sands.
It was that it had like the horns, like those like
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking
yeah.
about Diablo or Diablo.
Mm.
I know what you're talking about.
And then you had the elders. There was a
Well, there were elder dragons, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
3 of them weren't even dragons, or 2 of them weren't. There was the one that was
Mm.
in that looked
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
lion,
Uh-huh.
and then there was the one that was basically a fish that was in the
True.
water area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I feel like this one so far, like I know you said the game. Some people said it felt easy.
I've heard that from 2 different like content creators.
I don't feel like it's easy.
Oh yeah, we saw.
No, no, I've gotten a lot better. Now that I've get back in
That's
the
what he
flow of playing it.
says.
Well, I'll stream it again. Don't play with me. But I feel like I hate to say it. Maybe it feels easier because you kind of know how. I think they need to switch up to make it more difficult. Kind of take from games like Elden Ring. Make the abilities a little less predictable. That's what I feel. That's what makes it.
You talk about the weapon
Because if
combinations.
you get yeah, like the monsters, their
Oh,
abilities and what they do,
oh,
I feel like they have to make it more predictable. I feel like that's what people feel is easy. And if you play a lot of games like Elden Ring and stuff like that that are very challenging and difficult, because you got to think about it, Monster Hunter in a sense is like a single player game.
That
So
in a
the
sense,
AI has to be, yeah.
at best, it is a PVE game. Or
Yeah, yeah, correct.
yes, but
So I could see where the people are saying it's kind of easy, but at the same time, I'm like, man, these monsters take a lot more damage than I remember in World, like a lot more. Like I'd, I'd be like landing combos now like crazy and focusing on the crit spots, and they still be going to the next area, next area. It'd be a while sometimes.
I mean, I do know that a lot of people say that pattern recognition is like makes Monster Hunter and like from Dark Soul games
Mhm.
easy as heck. And I don't think you make. I think that's probably the reason why a lot of people, because I don't want unpredictable uh monsters. What I want is a predictable monster, but my options are limited. Because like I can see the attack coming, but know that it's like, oh, if I want to be safe, I have to stop attacking and go either left or right, or if I do continue attacking, I have to be underneath his legs. Those are my only two options. Nowhere else is safe.
Or what I was thinking now that you mentioned that, like kind of like Dark Soul games, make it more punishing if you get hit. That's where I think the opportunity is. Because right now that I've upgraded some of my gear and stuff, I feel like I'm not taking a lot of damage. Now I don't know what the late game is yet. I'm still like in the beginning, maybe towards the middle now. So I can't speak too much on it. But I feel like the damage is not there. Like if it's gonna be as predictable, like you said, if it's as predictable as it is right now, then the damage needs to be more punishing.
I I I would also say more damage because damage is a slippery slope, and I know a
Hmm.
lot of people say it's a lazy way to increase difficulty because like
Hmm.
there are a lot of game design decisions people can make for punishing a person or player for doing something bad when they're not supposed to, and
Hmm.
then people say like, hey, increasing damage or causing or in- increasing damage and increasing health are bad ways to have increased difficulty or increased punishment because that feels one lazy, but two, it's a very artificial way, and there's no player agency in that. Like if I
Hmm.
do get hit by something and it does more damage, well, what if it's an unavoidable attack? Am I always going to take more damage on that case?
Yeah.
Uh, and then there are other ways, but what I think is for increasing difficulty, especially if you want like less predictable or like more punishment, have the monster have setups where like if it hits you with one thing, it will do another attack that you can't dodge. Or
Combo.
yeah, like have them have combos. Make the monster do more combos. Like a good example, Basil guys. In Monster Hunter World, excuse me, flying AC 130. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that mother.
He goes like, "Oh, he's gonna knock you down, and you can't move, and he's gonna
And then
fly
shoot.
over you." Exactly. He was like, "Oh, look at all these bombs. Oh, you got hit by a bomb and fell down. Now he's gonna pound into
Oh
you."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Exactly. Yep.
yeah,
Exactly.
that is the punishment you get for taking damage on this flyby. So
Hmm.
they need to do that either with all monsters or monsters that they want to be challenging. So like maybe the first few monsters they don't do it. Like maybe the like I exactly example. I don't want the pukey in Monster Hunter World doing that to me. It's already poisoning me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, there was. Now that you said that, there was this one fight. I was fighting this one thing, man, and it was annoying the hell out of me because you had to fight it in an area that was hot, so you're taking damage because it's so hot,
uh,
and I'm getting beat by him, and then he hit me, bro, and I was rolling, and
uh,
I'm watching my life because the damage. I took a lot of damage, and then I'm just watching my life tick away because it's hot in the area, and I'm getting pissed off. I'm trying to get up and roll because he puts you on fire sometimes too. So I'm trying to get the fire off me, but it's also hot in the area. So I'm trying to take a cool drink and I'm trying to heal myself. It was, I was like, God damn. But like you said, though, but even with all that going on, Gerard, I felt like I wasn't taking enough damage. I probably should have died. I should have, but I didn't. I felt like he messed me up enough to kill me.
Yeah. Oh, that I probably we'll probably get finished up here.
Yeah.
Soon, but that and maybe decreasing the amount of pots people can hold. Because I remember,
Oh yeah, we have 10 and 10 and
yeah,
10.
in
And the life
Worlds,
powder.
yeah, in
Yeah.
Worlds, you didn't get life powders until the end of the game. That was a
Mhm.
late game thing that you had to get, or at least mid game, and then also your health potions were maxed out at like 5 at Worlds in the beginning. It wasn't until like you started leveling up that it started going up to 10
Mm.
because you
No,
could
it's
only
right
have,
off the bat. Right off
yeah,
the bat, 10.
yeah. So
So I don't know. We're still early, so I don't know. I don't know. Me personally, when you
you
get
get
it, I'll
you get
probably
one
start another
you
character.
get one shotted by a monster. Like, never mind, the game's hard. Never mind, the game's hard.
No, we would have heard that by now. I'm sure there's people that beat the game already, like probably twice over, because they just live and breathe it.
Yeah, they go into New
But
Game Plus, and then
yeah,
everything is harder. That's when the honestly that's where the veterans true game experience happens is New Game Plus, where I get to bring all my gear over, but all the monsters have their health increased and they do more damage.
I'm telling you, bro, they have a lot of health right now. They just need to increase the damage. That's it. They have a lot of
Well,
health.
I don't know. Anyway, that's all from
But
us.
yeah,
Unless you have anything to add, do you have any final word?
no, I just want to hear what people think right now. I know we talked about people getting over. I gotta say, over animated about the optimization, but honestly, man, the game is freaking amazing so far. I have no complaints about it.
Yeah, and well, hopefully Mike will join us next week about his
Yeah,
thoughts about Monster Hunter. And I will definitely pick up the game this week. So
I
uh,
bet. So
we'll
we'll start it up.
I'll give you my honest thoughts about my game experience next time. Hopefully we won't do a huge spiel on Monster Hunter. We'll probably
Mm,
talk about something else, but
mm.
we want to hear your opinions on Monster Hunter Wilds. If you picked up the game, tell us how you're feeling about it. If you haven't picked up the game, are you going to? Or are you going to wait for Exposition 33 to come out like the true JRPG person you are? I'm picking it up immediately. But thanks for joining us, and like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace.
Later.